All right, Jesse on Fire, really quick video. I don't have time to be doing this. I don't have time, but I love you guys that much because this is news that that needed to be talked about right now. So Khabib just came out. He said that he doesn't want the Gaethje fight right now. He wants Gaethje to fight Conor. So it sounds like that's what is going to happen. There's no way that he would make that statement if there was any variance. Like he wouldn't make that statement if that's not what was going to happen, or at least what he was suggesting. So you can expect Conor to come out of retirement in the next 25 seconds or, 25 seconds after he heard that news. So, yeah, this is very interesting because here's the deal. Now, I think I've made pretty clear what I think is going to happen in that fight. And given that Gaethje annihilated Tony Ferguson and made himself into what appears to be the most worthy adversary at 155, if Conor comes in and obliterates Justin Gaethje, which I think is exactly what's going to happen, then people are going to have to look at Conor when he fights Khabib as a completely different level threat than had he sat on the sidelines and then let's say Khabib beat Gaethje in their fight. And then it's like, okay, now Conor's fighting Khabib. People will be like no one would give Conor a chance in that fight. But if Conor goes in and he just walks through Gaethje and just makes him look like an amateur, which again is exactly what I think he's going to do, people are just going to be like, whoa. And what's crazy is it's just a stylistic matchup. The odds, like Conor walking through Gaethje impacts his chances of beating Khabib zero, as far as I'm concerned. I still have Khabib as a heavy favorite over Conor. Even though, again, we've done this a million times. I have Gaethje as a favorite over Khabib, in my opinion, or at least 50-50. I have Conor, a really heavy favorite over Gaethje. And then I have Khabib, a really heavy favorite over Conor. I'm almost equally confident that Khabib will beat Conor as I am Conor will beat Gaethje. And then the Gaethje and Khabib one is the one that I'm like, geez, I don't know, man. I don't know. That's the one that's tough. And that's not discounting Gaethje at all. It's just a stylistic thing, man. Conor is a magician on his feet. By the way, after that video I did last night talking about Figueiredo, saying that he had the highest finish ratio of any champion in the UFC, which is accurate, obviously. Someone commented and they were like, I like Conor McGregor and Francis Ngannou's finish ratio. And, candidly, I hadn't even thought about that just because I was just going through the champions, but Francis Ngannou has a 100% finish ratio. He's finished every single fighter that he's beat. All of them. It's pretty amazing. And Conor is 22-1 with 20 finishes. So his is higher than any of the champions by a hefty margin. A hefty margin. So Figueiredo has the highest, and he's 19-1 with 16 finishes. Okay, so out of his 19 fights, he has 3 fights that he did not finish. Conor's got 22 wins, and he's finished 20 of them. Okay, so these guys are actually a long ways behind Conor in terms of finish ratio. And when you really put it into that context, it brings that GOAT conversation back into the fray. If Conor, again, I've always said Conor would need to do a lot of really incredible things to even be in that conversation. But if he dirt naps Gaethje and then somehow pulls off beating Khabib, I mean, listen, the finish ratio thing, that matters. That matters big. But again, I don't think he's going to beat Khabib, so it is what it is. But I do think he's going to annihilate Gaethje. Yeah, I'm not going to get too far in the weeds on this one because I've done a lot of analysis on this particular fight. I'll do a longer one tomorrow. I don't have time to do it tonight, but let's go. This is serious. I mean, I can't get super excited because of the nature of why, Khabib's pulling out. I mean, it doesn't, it's one of those things where even if everything you had hoped for is, that Khabib, that Gaethje and Conor would fight first, the nature of how it happened makes it to where you can't really get excited. You just have to kind of look at it and accept that that's what's happening. It's like, okay, so Conor's going to fight Gaethje first, and then the winner will fight Khabib, and hopefully Khabib has time to mourn, get back into a healthy routine. I think that's probably going to be where I focus most of my energy, as I'm kind of analyzing this unfolding situation, is on Khabib, just kind of mentally, and what's going to be important for him going forward, which I believe is going to be getting into the routine of training without his father, and really, I mean, again, without knowing him personally, I can't say how big of a shift it is, but I don't think it's going to be the the sadness of losing a parent that is what dictates how well he does long term. I think it's going to be his ability to get into a training regiment without his father. Like a father head coach, that's a serious thing, man. That relationship goes sideways with a lot of fighters who grow up with their dad as their coach. I would say it's actually 50-50. Professionals who become stars who have a father as a lifelong coach, which is not uncommon. It's about 50-50, where they stay with their father and they continue, they have an incredible relationship, or things go sideways, and they're like, I need to get out from it. Because, you could be like these guys who are type A professional fighters, and then they raise their child to be a professional fighter, and they literally are not only expecting them to do everything that they did, they're expecting them to never make any of the mistakes that they made either, right? So they're bombarding them with all of their expectations, and then on top of which, additional expectations, because they don't want to see them make mistakes that now, in their older wisdom, they recognize that they had made themselves. It's just a ton of pressure, man. And they end up not really having a human relationship with them, right? The parent in those unhealthy ones are basically having a relationship with their younger self, where they just want to like tell them what to do. It's like, no, believe me, I know. Like, I know what I should have done, and that's what I'm telling you. Like, just do it. That is an unhealthy way to engage with anyone, right? Because again, you're not like in that situation. Where is the dialogue where you're thinking about what they're feeling and what they're thinking and what's important to them, right? Does not exist. That's not part of it for the unhealthy one, right? They are literally yelling. It's as if they got a time machine and they went back to themselves 20 years earlier, and they're trying to vomit everything they realize now they should have done at them all day, every day. How is that going to build a bond between a father and a son, right? I want what's best for you. It's different. You can give them all of the guidance, and teach them to be a better man and try to, guide them away from the mistakes that you made. It's different, though, if you're looking at them as this budding thing of their own, where you're listening to them, etc., versus just, wanting to beat yourself up for shit that you did when you were younger. Anyway, that's what I got. Subscribe to the channel. Ring the bell. Let's go. I did not have time to do this. It's family movie night, dude. We got stuff going on, and I did this anyway because this was big enough news. So, if you don't mind, subscribe, like the channel, ring the bell, etc. Let's go.